Tonight's reading from the Acts of the Apostles meets a man bound in chains the night before his trial, and somehow asleep. And Bishop Fulton Sheen has something to say about where joy actually comes from, which turns out to be closer to that locked cell than we might expect. In our Monday evening reading from Acts chapter 12, we hear, "In those days, King Herod laid hands upon some members of the church to harm them. He had James, the brother of John, killed by the sword. And when he saw that this was pleasing to the Jews, he proceeded to arrest Peter also. It was the Feast of Unleavened Bread. He had him taken into custody and put into prison under the guard of 4 squads of 4 soldiers each. He intended to bring him before the people after Passover. Peter thus was being kept in prison, but prayer by the church was fervently being made to God on his behalf." James is already gone, and Peter is next. Everyone knows it. There's no reason at this point to expect anything but the worst. And yet the verse that holds this whole scene together is the quiet one in the middle. The church was praying fervently to God on his behalf. Peter sits in chains, but he is not alone in that cell, not really. A whole community is on its knees for him while he waits. We forget that sometimes carrying the hard thing as though we are the only one holding it, when all along there are people lifting us before God in ways we will never see. On the very night before Herod was to bring him to trial, Peter, secured by double chains, was sleeping between 2 soldiers, while outside the door, guards kept watch on the prison. Suddenly, the angel of the Lord stood by him, and a light shone in the cell. He tapped Peter on the side and awakened him, saying, "Get up quickly." The chains fell from his wrists. Read that again slowly. The night before his trial, double chains on his wrists, a soldier on either side. And Peter is asleep, not pacing, not bargaining, not lying awake, running through what tomorrow might bring, but asleep. That is not a man who has given up. He is sleeping, which means he has handed the whole thing back to God and trusted him with the outcome. How many of our nights would look different if we could sleep like that? The chains were still on him when he closed his eyes, and they only fell when the angel came, in God's time, not Peter's. The angel said to him, "Put on your belt and your sandals." He did so. Then he said to him, "Put on your cloak and follow me." So he followed him out, not realizing that what was happening through the angel was real. He thought he was seeing a vision. They passed the first guard, then the second, and came to the iron gate leading out to the city, which opened for them by itself. They emerged and made their way down an alley, and suddenly the angel left him. Then Peter recovered his senses and said, "Now I know for certain that the Lord sent his angel and rescued me from the hand of Herod and from all that the Jewish people had been expecting." Notice that Peter does almost nothing. He puts on his sandals and his cloak and he follows. The iron gate, the one thing no prisoner could move, opens for them by itself. He does not force it. He does not even fully believe it is happening. He thinks he is seeing a vision. And only afterward, standing free in the alley, does it land on him. The Lord sent his angel and rescued me. The deliverance was real the whole time, and Peter just had to follow it out one step before he could see it. So much of our own freedom works that way. We strain against the gate that will not move when the thing being asked of us is simply to follow and to trust that He is opening what we cannot. Tonight, the whole church keeps the feast of these two men, Peter and Paul, the rock and the convert, both of whom learned to stop holding their own lives so tightly that they could finally be free. The cell could not keep Peter. In the end, nothing could. Welcome to the Sacred Heart family. I'm Aaron. We pray together, walk with the saints, and reflect on the gospel every day. If this is the kind of reflection your evening needs, like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. As we prepare our hearts for rest, we now turn to the wisdom of Bishop Fulton Sheen. If joy be uncommon today, it is because there are timid souls who have not the courage to forget themselves and to make sacrifices for their neighbor. There is a strange link between that sentence and the cell we just left. Peter could sleep because he had already forgotten himself, and the church could free him because they had forgotten themselves enough to pray through the night for a man they could not reach. Sheen is naming the same freedom from the other direction. The joy we go looking for, the settled gladness that does not depend on the day going our way, almost never comes from tending to ourselves more carefully. It comes from the courage to look up from our own situation long enough to carry someone else's. The timid soul Sheen describes is not a bad person. It is just a person pointed inward, holding on, afraid to lose control of himself. And that holding on is its own kind of chain. What would fall away from us tonight if we stopped guarding ourselves and simply gave what we have to the person God has placed beside us? Whatever this Monday asked of you, it is finished now, and you do not have to carry it into the dark by yourself. Somewhere tonight, the church is still praying the way it prayed for Peter, and you are held in that even when you cannot feel it. Let the change you have been gripping all day rest on the floor for a few hours. The Sacred Heart of Jesus, which we have been honoring all of June, is awake over your house while you sleep, near to you, watching the gate you cannot open. Lay your head down, trusting that He sends His help in His own time, and that time is good. Share your intentions in the comments of the video so that the Sacred Heart family may walk with you in faith and charity. Tonight's Catholic evening prayers are waiting for you at sacredheartpreciousblood.com. Link is in the description. God bless.